a boy with no father, a king desperate for power, and beneath a mountain 2 dragons locked in a battle for the soul of Britain. Long before Camelot, before Arthur's sword touched stone, Britain was a land unraveling. The Roman legions had vanished, their roads and villas left to ruin. Once great cities crumbled, fields went untended, local warlords battled over scraps of land, and from across the sea came the Saxons, raiders, settlers, invaders. In this chaos, Vortigern rose to power. Some called him a king, others a usurper. Desperate to fortify his rule, he sought to build a great fortress in the north, a seat of power to defy both enemy blades and crumbling order. But fate would not allow it. On a wooded hill in Snowdonia, Dinas Emrys, Vortigern ordered his builders to lay the first stones. They hauled timber, carved boulders, dug foundations. But every night, the walls they raised in daylight collapsed into rubble by dawn. Day after day, the work was undone. The hill, it seemed, rejected their efforts. His priests and diviners cast bones, read the stars, and whispered their answer. A blood price was owed. "Find a child with no father," they said. "Spill his blood upon the stones, and the ground will hold." Messengers scoured the land. In a western village, they found a boy, quiet, sharp-eyed, and strange. He had no known father. His mother, a priestess or perhaps a noblewoman, claimed she had conceived him in a dream. The boy's name was Emrys. Some called him Ambrosius. He was barely more than 12, but his gaze was ancient. Brought before Vortigern, Emrys stood calmly amid the torchlight and tension. He did not flinch when the king spoke of sacrifice. Instead, he smiled. "Your walls fall," he said, "because you build them atop a secret you do not understand." He pointed to the hill. "Dig deeper. Beneath the stone lies the truth." The king hesitated, but ordered his men to dig. The day wore on, and as the hill's heart was opened, strange things were heard. Low groans in the earth, a breath of warm air rising from cracks in the rock. As the digging continued, the workers uncovered a hidden chamber, cool and damp, sealed for centuries. At its center lay a pool, still and dark, its waters ancient as the land itself. The moment the last stone was lifted from its rim, the water began to tremble. A deep rumble echoed from the earth's belly. The surface of the pool shattered, and from beneath the waters rose 2 beasts, massive, winged and terrible. One was red as firelight, its scales shimmering like molten bronze. The other bone-white with eyes like winter frost. With a roar that shook the trees, the dragons clashed. They flew upwards, circling the hilltops, striking with claw and flame. The red surged first, driving the white down, but the white countered fast, brutal, relentless. Again and again they struck until smoke curled from the stones and ash fell like snow. Then, with a final cry, the red dragon rose high, wings blazing with flame. It dove, claws extended, and struck the white beast so fiercely that it crashed to the ground and vanished into the earth. The smoke cleared, silence fell, and Emrys spoke. "These are the spirits of the land. The red dragon is the blood of the Britons, the white the force that seeks to drive them out. For a time the white shall rule, the red will bleed, but it shall rise again." He turned to Vortigern. "You will fall, others will follow. But from the fire, a new king will be born." His words chilled the gathered lords. Even Vortigern, proud and desperate, stepped back. Vortigern stood in silence, the echo of the prophecy still ringing in the air. He had ruled by force, by fear, but this boy had summoned dragons from the earth and named the fate of kings. Around them, the gathered lords whispered. Eyes shifted, allegiances wavered. Reluctantly, Vortigern stepped back, not in defeat, but in recognition. Power had shifted, not through battle, but through vision, and so Emrys stepped forward and claimed the hill, not with sword or crown, but with the quiet certainty of one who had seen what others could not. From that moment, Dinas Emrys belonged not to Vortigern, but to legend. This story first appears in the Historia Brittonum, a 9th century chronicle blending myth and history. It was later retold and expanded by Geoffrey of Monmouth in his 12th century Historia Regum Britanniae, where Emrys becomes a young Merlin, a prophet, born of mystery, speaking truth to power. The red and white dragons became lasting symbols. Today, the red dragon flies proudly on the Welsh flag, a symbol of resilience and native spirit. And the tale of Emrys foreshadows the coming of Arthur, the once and future king. This tale has been a creative retelling, a dramatized interpretation of an ancient legend drawn from multiple medieval texts and their mythic traditions. If you're interested in exploring the historical sources, a great place to begin is Geoffrey of Monmouth's The History of the Kings of Britain, available in English from Penguin Classics. So beneath the stones of Dinas Emrys, 2 dragons fought in secret, and a boy with no father spoke of kings yet unborn. From that hilltop, a story began to rise. A story of loss, of prophecy, and of fire that refused to die. The Saxons would come, the Britons would fall, but in their darkest hours they remembered the red dragon, battered but never broken. And in the boy Emrys, the seed of Merlin took root. If you've enjoyed this journey into Wild Britain, be sure to give us a like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. And join us again as we continue to uncover the legends written in the mists of history. Until next time,